Gun Freak Nation, I salute you. Before I, you know, jump on this particular topic, I want to just say thank you. I would like for you to, hit that like button, um, hit the share button, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button if you like what you hear. Um, this channel, our channel, is being heavily shadow banned. YouTube doesn't like content like this, especially when you keep it real. So let's break free from those chains, and you know it doesn't cost you anything. It's free to subscribe, and it's free to hit that like button. But thank you for watching. I want to touch on the topic of sleeper cells. You know, people usually associate that with some type of foreign terrorist group that has infiltrated our borders, and they land dormant, and when they get their orders, they launch their attacks. Right? I predicted a lot of things that happened, and some things didn't happen. I remember telling you all that it definitely was going to be some form of war over in the Middle East between Israel and Iran and the United States, and it happened. But one thing that I mentioned, and so many other people mentioned, was that it was going to be terror attacks from terror cells that was already deeply entrenched into our country, because we had the previous administration left the borders wide open for 4 years. And I haven't changed my mind, because I know that more than likely they are here, still here. But I want to refocus on something. The bombing, the war, it took place, but there was no terrorist attacks. No terror cells, no Iranian proxy groups or anything. And thank God. But what I want to get across, sometimes you can be distracted and you can be focused, and like, yeah, they gonna hit, they're gonna attack, they're gonna, when you have to be focused on everybody, not just some foreign sleeper cell terrorist that's in the country right now. It's so many groups, so many potential terror cells that's in this country. And I'm not talking about just foreign, I'm talking about domestic. I'm talking cartels. I'm talking hate groups. I'm talking, man, just your regular everyday criminal that's around the corner from you. Because guess what? If he gets the drop on you and you're not ready, if you're not, I call it being savage ready, which means you just alert. You got your head on a swivel. You looking over your shoulder. You watching to see if anybody watching you or your movements or anything. You have to be ready, and you have to be armed. You have to shift focus from, looking at a particular situation or a particular group, or you got to just focus on the bigger picture. You feel me? You got to focus on evil, because at the end of the day, it all boils down to righteousness versus evil. And that evil can take many shapes and many forms and come at you. So, it didn't happen, and thank God that we didn't have any, attacks or anything. Um, but that's not to say that it can happen and it could be any one of those groups that I named, because we got hate groups here that really want to see chaos and disorder. They really want to ignite a race war, or just destabilize the country. And you don't have to look at different demographics or anything. At the end of the day, evil is evil, and we must prepare for it. Let's hope that day never ever become a reality. But what if it do? Are you prepared? Do you have what it takes? Do you have supplies? Do you have weapons? Do you have some type of support group that you can link up with that can back you up? Because in a situation like that, in a shit hit the fan situation like that, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that on your own, unless you just able to go off into the mountains or into the woods or something, the forest or something, and you able to live off the land and survive. I salute you. If you got those types of survival skills, if you are a prepper, shout out to all my preppers that's out there. Yes, they call us paranoid, but we know what time it is. We know the reality of life, and we know that at any time, any day, if you are not prepared, if you're not ready and mentally savage ready up here, armed up here, because right here, that's what really matters. That's what's going to make the difference between life and death. A gun is not going to do that. That gun is just merely that tool that can position you where you can fight back. So it's very essential. It's very important to own one or a couple. Because if you got a group of bad guys, savages, I call them, and they are, going door to door trying to break in and make entry into your house to unalive you, because I say that the next event that will happen, and I hope that day never comes, is not going to be about taking and collecting hostages. It's about a mass casualty event. They trying to unalive as many people as they can get their hands on. And in a scenario like that, you got to know how to move. You just have to be ready. And now I'm about to say the same old tired stuff that everybody else say, but I don't know what else to say. Stock up on your supplies, medical supplies, food, water, stuff that you can use, accessories and stuff that you can use. I don't know, excuse me for the every time I get on here, man, indigestion and allergies. My apologies to you. Fire starters, batteries for flashlights, something, a tourniquet, something where you may have to stitch yourself up or somebody else up, man. You just got to be ready. You got to look for that, imagine in your mind, what would it be like if there was no police? This is why cops are absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, heroes, because they keep the peace for the most part. Because you think that crime is bad now, and trust me, in my city, in Detroit, Michigan, crime is off the chain right now. It's crazy. I've never seen it this bad before, right? I've never seen it this bad before. So could you imagine if there was no, law enforcement, no police to enforce the law? Now, about 4 or 5 years ago, you had dumb people calling for the police, to be defunded. So we dealing with the element of a certain demographic of politicians and people that strongly disagree with us. But those people, they call us crazy. I think that's crazy. Defund the police. So when somebody break in your house or somebody try to do harm to you, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. You are going to end up being a ghost if you're not able to defend yourself. And we don't want that to happen. You may disagree with me or the way that I talk, or that's fine. As long as it's, you're disrespectful. As long as you're not disrespectful is what I mean. We live in a society right now that's on a moral decline. We living in a society where people are openly celebrating the unaliving of people, like the manager in East Point, Michigan, that was unalived by her employee. And you had so many people going online trying to get, clout or whatever. This is just sickening. Now, I did hear about another McDonald's situation where the manager, she wasn't going for it. It was 2 employees, and they tried to attack her, fight her. And guess what, y'all? She pulled her gun, and I'm pretty sure it was McDonald's policy not to be packing. Only pack them Big Macs. Don't pack no gun. But I guess when she saw that manager here in Michigan in East Point was unalived by a knife at that, she brought a gun to work with her, and I salute her. She may not have her job no more, but she got her life. She got her life. And by her having that gun, she's not a future victim. She will not end up on a future cover of a obituary like the manager that did not have a gun. They don't have her funeral and everything. God bless her soul and may she rest in peace. But she should not be, where she at right now, in a grave. She should not be there. And if she had a gun on her, that's the difference between life and death. And that's my whole point. You have to be armed for whatever reason. Having a gun doesn't make us invincible. We're not Superman. We're not Superwoman. But it gives us a chance, a fighting chance. It gives us a fighting chance to fight back against evil when evil comes our way to try to attack us. We're not bothering anybody. We in the comfort of our own homes. We mind our own business, minding our business. We go out into the world to do normal everyday things. But we got to realize that we are indeed living in a wicked world. You don't have to go looking for trouble. Trouble will find you. And when it do, you have to respond accordingly. Don't be no victim. You may have the mindset, well, I stick to myself and, I don't bother anybody. What I do have, I work hard for it, or I hustle hard for it. I'm not, bothering anybody. So why should anybody bother me? Guess what? Welcome to the real world. The criminals don't care about none of that. All they care about is getting the drop on you, to rob you, or to do even more horrible things to you. And you don't want to be that victim. So whether it's a sleeper cell, or rather it's a local criminal around the corner from you, you got to be ready at all times to protect your life, protect your family, protect your loved ones. I'm getting reports from Gun Freak Nation members that, we got, Trump cracked down on the borders. They're no longer wide open. But I'm hearing reports that, migrants or, whoever they are, illegals, I didn't mean to say migrants, my bad, no disrespect, but illegals are crossing over to do home invasions and commit robberies and stuff, and they're not trying to stay in the country. They're doing hit and runs. They're crossing over into this country, crossing the border, committing that crime, and going back over there. And we don't know whether it's cartels behind this or it's crazy. We living in a crazy world. And you have to be ready at all times. Gun Freak Nation, I appreciate every single one of you, and I want every single one of you to be safe. And the key component to being safe is being armed. Because we living in a world that is spiraling out of control. And that day will come where only the strong will survive. I love you, Gun Freak Nation. Salute. Listen. Y'all stay armed. Stay responsible with your firearms. Stay righteous. And be ready to send that savage to Funky Town. I love every single one of y'all. You know why? Because y'all love and respect me. I'm a complex person where, I can be goofy, silly, foul mouth, cussing and everything. The way I look at it, I'm in my house and I can do whatever I want. But at the same time, topics like this is serious. I really, I want y'all to be on your P's and Q's and keep that head on a swivel. Because you just never know when that devil is going to, try to attack you. But you know what they say in the Bible: no weapon no weapon formed against us shall prosper. So you make sure that you got that. You make sure you got your weapon to repel those demons when they try to attack you. I love you. Have a good night.